So I struggled with Spanish for years. I mean, I was in school. I think I had a D in Spanish in high school. I took Spanish when I was in college. I took like a couple classes. I think I had got Rosetta Stone out of the library one time, and I just never could really understand like the full ability, like the ability to be fluent and speak Spanish in conversations and hold a conversation in Spanish, right? So it took me until realizing that the Spanish language is a system. All languages are systems. They're all technologies. Excuse me. They're all technologies that we utilize to communicate with each other. Every language has a system. It has grammar. It has vocabulary. It has schemes, I like to call them, to set up, to build sentences and understand and ask questions and be in community and talk with people. So in this video, my goal is to break down, deconstruct Spanish so you can improve your Spanish tenfold. Because you hear a lot of people talk about, just immerse yourself. I mean, immersion is cool, but it's just one piece of the pie. Because I know people who've lived in Mexico, Colombia, all these Spanish speaking countries who live there for 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, and they don't speak any Spanish. So I asked myself, why is it that somebody could be in an immersive state and still not learn Spanish? It's because they did not understand the system of Spanish and they don't see Spanish as what it is. They don't see it as a system. They don't notice the patterns and schemes that you need in order to build sentences. Because once I started understanding these schemes that I'm about to tell you in this video, everything changed for me. So the first scheme, as I like to call it, is mente, right? So words in Spanish that end in mente is how we will use like an adverb, right? Like basicamente or obviamente or rapidamente, right? These are how we would normally communicate with when we're using adverbs like slowly or easily or obviously, right? And once your brain kind of recognizes those schemes and patterns on how those words are easily translated from English to Spanish, it's gonna make all the word difference. I'm gonna put these words on the screen. You can pause for a second before we move on. Just give you an example of how these words are utilized and like the mente at the end, and how you can just get this scheme in your brain and how you can progress forward. Second scheme would be utilizing iendo, right? Iendo. So this scheme is how to recognize words that we would use in English, like words that end in ing, right? So that would be like walking, eating, driving, things like that, right? So like a common one like comiendo, right? Comer is to eat, comiendo, eating, right? Uh Driving, manejando, right? Well, it would be ando, yendo, depending on the regular verb. But in this, but that you get the gist of the point, right? It's that the ing in English and the yendo or ando, like caminando or comiendo. Those words are to express that thing that you're doing right now, and that's another scheme that once you understand that, because we utilize that in our everyday language all the time, right? So I'm also going to leave these words on the screen as well, like the last time. You can pause it, before we move on to the next, and just get these, download these into your brain, recognize these phrases, these schemes, these patterns for the whole video. So, and you can always come back to this or screenshot it, and you can always have it later. All right, the third scheme, boya, right? Boya is a what I like to call a sentence builder. We have tons of sentence builders in Spanish, but this one I want to really hone in first because this is telling you where you're going, where I'm going, where you're going, where we're going, where they're going. We utilize that in English all the time, and once you recognize that, so I'm going. Voy a ir a la tienda. I'm going to the store. Voy a ir a la escuela. I'm going to school. Voy a or no, vamos a ir a ver una película. We're going to see a movie. What else? Van a limpiar sus carros, right? These are things we utilize in everyday conversation. And this is a very, very, very powerful function that I like to call it, function sentence builder scheme in this scheme of the system. That because it is going to really open up a lot of doors in your Spanish speaking utilizing this scheme. Okay. So the final for this video, the final scheme that I really, 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 really enjoy is tengo que, right? Tengo que is extremely powerful because it is establishing a need and a desire for something. And that is how we really like to express ourselves in emotion in English, right? Like, I have to go to work tomorrow. Tengo que trabajar mañana, right? That is another one. Tenemos que comprar más comida por nuestro gato. We need to buy more food for our cat, right? Tienes que limpiar sus zapatos, right? Like, you gotta clean your shoes, things like that, right? So, because we're just expressing an extreme desire, an extreme necessity, or something we have to do, we must do, and that is a whole lot better than just memorizing a bunch of like random vocabulary words that you would memorize in like Duolingo or some flashcards, right? No, the schemes that I just laid out in this video, these schemes are true and sentence builders and also ways to get your mind to understand how to translate. So you're not translating your brain thinking, how do I say this? No, you already have the scheme in your brain. You already know that how to say the words that end in ing, in English, the endo, the ando, caminando, comiendo, relajando, trabajando, working, relaxing. You already have those, right? You know the mente, right? When you want to describe something like an adverb really well, like basicamente is very easy, or facilmente is very easy, basically. Obviamente is very obvious, right? That's the scheme, that's the layout that your brain is going to recognize immediately. And once you understand it, you're going to easily be able to draw that from your brain. So the entire point of this video is to make sure that you're not just memorizing a bunch of words, you're understanding the schemes that are in place for Spanish. And then once you understand schemes, more and more schemes, you are going to be able to reduce the amount of time you're thinking about Spanish, and you're just going to already have a formulated sentence that you can just spit out. And if there's certain vocabulary words that you may or may not know, you can always ask somebody, right? Or somebody will fill it in for you if you're a little stuck, if you may not, know it. But if you get the sentence going, if you get the sentence started, you're already 70% of the way there. And I promise you, somebody who you're trying to communicate in Spanish, when they see you putting in that effort to already be getting in that you already understand the schemes and the rules and of the system of Spanish, they're gonna put a lot of they're gonna really help you out with that. So if you really enjoyed this video, you guys can go in the link in the description box below. You can book a one-on-one free strategy Spanish call with me, and we can talk to you, ask you what you're struggling with, see what your goals are, see what you've been trying, see what you need, and we can really help you out. All right, it's your boy Lou signing out. Peace.